I love this example of Gavin, who's going into a very transitional part of his life. He's getting into high school, and that's a great time for young people to take responsibility and think about what they want their high school life to look like. So Gavin's done a portfolio, and in Charting the Life course, a portfolio is a combination of a one-page profile, a trajectory, and an integrated support star. Those three documents together are a wealth of information to be able to share with people that are important to you, whether it's Gavin telling his family what he wants his high school life to look like, or his teacher, or his best friend. So we're going to start here with his one-page profile. Gavin says people appreciate that he's honest, he's a rule follower, he's very literal, he's smart, and he is detail oriented. So those are really important things that Gavin brings to the table. What's important to him is his family, friends, pets, playing sports, playing video games, and being included. I bet that's a pretty universal list for most 15-year-olds. And then how to support me. He needs clear instructions because he's a pretty black and white guy. So tell him exactly what you want and what it looks like. He likes jokes, but because he's literal, he can sometimes feel like you're making the joke on him. So he needs to understand you're joking. And he likes to be in a calm environment with no yelling. I think those are three really important things that his teachers will be so happy to know so that they can support him in the coming year. And Gavin's trajectory here is what we call a planning trajectory, and it includes your past life experiences and how they impact what's going on in the future. But we always start over here on the right side with your vision for a good life. So Gavin's good life involves playing sports, lots of sports, making new friends, getting good grades, learning life skills and preparing himself for after high school, and getting a job or learning job skills. This is such an important chunk of information. I can see goals and planning around each of these areas for Gavin to really be having a great freshman year experience. And as a teacher, if I'm having to write an IEP, tons of information about what I can focus on to help him build his skills. Also, in the what I don't want area, some things he'll have to get over, a lot of homework, teachers yelling. So teacher needs to know that if they yell or get frustrated with him, that's going to probably not bring out the best in him. And he doesn't like people making him feel like he's a problem. So these are things that the teacher needs to know, but there also might be some work that Gavin can do to address some of these things about zoning out and managing homework. So let's go over to the past life experiences. In the past, he was involved in a variety of sports. He's done chores. He goes to a youth group and has friends that he hangs out with. And he's done some of his own research about jobs that interest him. That's pretty amazing for a 15-year-old. That's a really good list of background information. And he also is able to articulate that not asking for help when he needed it really put him in a bad place in the past. Teachers yelling and getting mad was bad for him, and his own zoning out and not paying attention was bad for him. So these are things that he self-identified as areas to work through, work towards. So up at the future life, he wants to try out for sports and maybe learn a new sport, join some clubs, use his time in study hall wisely, pick classes that interest him, job shadow somebody, and advocate for himself. And he put that in capital letters, which is pretty interesting. Again, as a teacher, this is the breakdown for goal setting. How am I going to help Gavin learn to study in effective ways? How am I going to find opportunities for him to job shadow or build his advocacy skills? And then as a family member, how do I help him make decisions about a new sport to try or the clubs that might be fun? Down at the bottom, not asking for help, not advocating for himself, and not learning ways to focus his attention. Those are things he's got to be on the lookout for. What I really like about this too is I think at this age with teenagers, so often it's a little battle between family and authority figures and the teenager where you're pushing back and forth trying to get the person to do what you want. When you've got this spelled out by Gavin about what he wants, you can can come back to it and say, Gavin, you said that you really wanted to be able to speak up for yourself, but I see we're in this situation, and what do you think you can do about it? Do you need some help to think it through? How can we build that skill? Gavin, it seems like maybe you're having trouble focusing in this class. What are the things that are hard for you to focus on? What are some things you think might help you? Again, I think it starts to build that youth accountability. They've said that this is important to them, so they need to take some action. And I think, again, helps them to think through what is going to help me to be able to tackle some of these things. And that's where we get to the star, where you start looking at what you need to do that. And this is Gavin's star on the right. I'm going to mention that this is a star on the left from an older lady, Mary, about her self-care, but we're going to really lean into Gavin's star today. This is a really a preferred star for me, and it's called a split star, where you've got what Gavin's got available to him now, but also what are some things that he can add to his toolkit so he continues to build his skills. So we'll start again, as we always do, with Gavin's personal strengths and advocates. He said he's a self-advocate, so he understands the value of advocacy. He's honest, he follows rules, he's smart, he's a good friend, he pays attention to details, knows a lot about sports and animals, and does his chores and housekeeping. It's a great list for a young man to have all those skills under his belt, and I bet he felt really good writing all those things down and being able to claim them. He's also really forward thinking. He wants to build some skills with budgeting and get his own debit card. He wants to get a driver's license, work or volunteer, and job shadow. Again, really great list of skills to add to his resume, help him move forward in his life. He's got specific technology that he already has access to, but he's able to say here, you know what? It's time for me to get an alarm clock and electronic reminders. I need to take responsibility for that. I might want to get a Fitbit or an Apple Watch to manage some of my health related to the sports I'm going to be in. So if you go all the way around, you can see how he's been able to identify the things he currently has in place and the things that he may want to add as he moves forward. And don't forget, Gavin can make one of these, and Gavin's mom can make one, and Gavin's teacher can make one, and they can compare them in a variety of settings, which I think helps Gavin to think more broadly. Maybe Gavin in reality only thought of the first three things in each of these categories, but other people have presented their stars, and he thought, yep, I'm going to take that one and that one and that one because those all make sense for my future. So that is the end of our Gavin example. I hope that helps to inspire you to go out and use these tools. I find that if you use the tools for yourself, it's a really great starting place to fully understand them and to build your own confidence in using them.